Howdy folks, welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. Only really have time for a quickie today. Well, quick by my standards, it's still a 13-minute video. Really busy after going to IKEA. And just assembling furniture for the old man cave. I've got 2 of the shelving units and 1 of the chairs put together and stuff's coming along nicely, but building furniture doesn't leave an awful lot of time for making videos. So what are we doing today? Well, we're in War Thunder, and we're in War Thunder Arcade, and I'm flying a Lag 3 35. I'm flying the Lag 3 11. It's a rank 1 Russian monoplane fighter with one 20mm cannon and one 12.7mm machine gun. Doesn't have a lot of ammunition for either, but if you've got a high reload skill, it's entirely manageable in Arcade at least. Historically, this thing was pretty much a disaster. Well, even though in 1941 it was one of the most advanced aircraft that Red Army Aviation had, it was far too heavy for the engine that it had. It was underpowered and it just got chewed up by the Luftwaffe. Soviet pilots actually had lower overall loss rates in the 1933 designed I-16 Ishak than in this thing. I'm finding that the only 2 characteristics that really seem to matter for an aircraft in Arcade is how quickly it can turn and how much firepower it has, because speed, boom and zoom aircraft, I feel are at a bit of a disadvantage in the Arcade flight model, because pretty much everybody can catch up with anybody. Not so in Realistic, where boom and zoom aircraft definitely come into their own. Because you can dive on somebody, build up that speed, turn that speed into altitude, and outclimb and outrun the guy that you dived on, even if you don't kill them. You can do that all the time, and it works very well in realistic battle. In Arcade, not so much. Let's just say that when you're flying in the Arcade flight model, say you're flying a Focke-Wulf 190 and diving on a Spitfire, you don't kill him, you accelerate, climb away, only to find that the Spitfire has pulled a 180-degree turn and is catching up with you. That's just the Arcade flight model. It's a completely different game. And I've probably been just as guilty as anybody else for complaining about that sort of thing. But people who continue to complain about that, they're totally missing the point. This game mode is called Arcade for a very good reason. If you're expecting anything even vaguely approaching a realistic flight experience in War Thunder Arcade, then you're playing the wrong game mode. It is what it is, and it is what it is for a good reason. If you don't like it, play realistic. I like them both, so, I've been playing them both. Been having more success in Arcade because I'm just not that good a pilot, but realistic definitely has its own attractions. And if you prefer one of them over the other, that's fine. If you haven't tried one over the other, then I do encourage you to give them both a shot. Because you're effectively getting 2 games for the price of 1, or even 3 for the price of 1. Simulator battle mode, that's a whole different ballgame entirely. I have actually finally managed to complete the simulator battle tutorial takeoff and landing. It took about 4 attempts. Oh, I suck so much at that. I think it's going to be a while before you see any simulator battle footage here on my channel. Man's got to know his limitations. I am tempted to put some video up of me actually trying to play a simulator battle just for a laugh, but I really don't want to inflict myself upon a simulator battle team. It really wouldn't be fair to them, but you never know, we'll see. But meanwhile, back here in the shallow end of the gene pool in Arcade, I've got 2 assists and no kills yet, and there's my first kill. And yeah, it was only a gladiator, but that guy's actually got the 2nd highest score on the enemy team, so taking him out was useful. Anyway, looking for my next victim. Check my rear, check above me, check both sides. Seem to be clear. And I do prefer, certainly in Arcade, and to a lesser degree in Realistic, picking a target that is not being engaged by anybody else, purely for the simple reason that getting on the tail of an enemy aircraft is a very dangerous proposition when there are members of your own team shooting at him. And so with that Lag 3 going after that P-26, instead I'm going to head after this premium I-153. That's Zhukovsky's I-153 premium. rank 1 biplane. Very, very manoeuvrable. And I made a bit of a mistake here. I should have gone vertical and looped around on him, but he makes a mistake too. He's fixating on ground targets and he doesn't actually use the manoeuvrability of this little thing. It allows me to pop onto his tail. Instead of trying to turn... He may be damaged. He may just not be able to manoeuvre the aircraft, but... No, I think he was just ignoring me and going after whatever was in front of him. But now, there's another P-26. He's going after that other Lag 3. I've hit his oil tank. He's pissing oil all over the place. A much better manoeuvre that time. Went vertical rather than trying to outturn P-26. But you can see the lag, even with the generous arcade flight modelling, it really does not manoeuvre terribly well. Stay on the P-26. Yep, that guy who went high does not look like he's going to be a threat. Finally got him. Terrible shooting, but he's dead. I'm not. Who's next? Oh, the Yak 7. And he looks like he's going after that AR2 rather than me, which means this Hurricane is my next victim. The range is not good. Firing short bursts, trying to just... Yep, he's turning around to face me. Cannons are out, down to machine gun. Scored a couple of hits. Where did he go? There he is. Cannons reloaded. Flip around, still on his tail. Got a hit. A crit. And we got him. The Hurricane is actually a very, very popular and dangerous Tier 1 aircraft. Because it has so many 7.7mm machine guns. But the disadvantage with those machine guns is that it does need to get a little bit closer than you need to in the Lag with its 20mm cannon. And I check behind me and I don't see anybody close enough to be a threat, which makes this all the more surprising. And my kill streak, and coincidentally my tail, is cut short by Gentleman Sausage, great name, in his LA5. Didn't even see him coming. I mean, I checked behind me, but I didn't check above me, and he clearly just dived on me, sawed my tail off with his twin 20mm. So, Gentleman Sausage, well played, good kill, and I'm going to jump into the Lag 335. Now, unlike the Lag 311, which I have hardly ever played, my Lag 335 is almost fully upgraded. And that's just purely because the Lag 311 and the Lag 36, for example, are relatively new additions to War Thunder. The Lag 335 has been in here since day one, so obviously I've played it more. Now, this is, believe it or not, a ground strike map. And my distaste for arcade ground strike is pretty well documented in previous videos. But I stuck with it and I actually played this one, purely and simply because I was just getting sick and tired of my first win in the day for every nation being 0 credits and 0 XP because I was abandoning ground strike missions. And so I stuck it out and I decided, screw it, terrible or not, I am at least going to get something out of my first win of the day for each nation. And of course it's been so long since I'd actually played a ground strike map that I hadn't noticed the changes that Gaijin have implemented to try to address the problem of the ridiculous domination of bombers in ground strike maps. And what they've done is that they have made it so that you cannot bomb out the enemy airbase and bring the game to a premature end, and there's another kill, hooray, without first bombing out the other area targets. And it does seem to have at least, and there's another kill, it does seem to have at least, well, made ground strike vaguely playable, which is a massive improvement. Ground strike is still not even close to being my favourite game mode, but at least it's no longer a complete waste of time taking part if you're flying anything other than a bomber, so, you know, credit where credit's due. So, anyway, it is ground strike, and I should really be prioritising ground attack aircraft and bombers like that IL-4. And even with the anti-gravity drive that all aircraft are provided in arcade, I'm not entirely sure I can catch that guy. Oh, seem to be doing alright. But while that IL-4 is the only thing I can see, P-40 down there, he's got another P-400 going after him, so keep an eye on him. But the IL-4, he's going into a dive. Okay, well that changes matters. And I am relatively close to him, but I'm always very, very wary about getting into this sort of engagement in arcade when there's a whole mess of enemy fighters shooting at the guy, because people will not ever stop shooting just because you're in the way. And he has picked up a lot of speed in that dive. I don't know if I can catch him. I mean, I can catch him. I am closing the distance because, yeah, it's arcade. But I'm not sure I can catch him in time. Not with... there's at least 4 of them climbing up to meet him, plus the SBD3 who... No, screw that. I'll go after the cat leader instead. And I do have rockets on my Lag 335. I've set them to explode. Yeah, there you go. The IL-4's dead anyway. It would have been a waste of time. I've set my rockets on the Lag 335 to explode at 300 meters range. Unfortunately, I am far from expert at using them. So pay careful attention. This is how you do not do a rocket run on a Catalina. Yeah, I know. Hit him, killed him, flew into him. 100% my own fault. Can't blame anybody else for that. I just sucked. May even have taken explosion damage from my own rockets there. I just left it far too late after releasing the rockets to break. Well, live and learn. So, what are we in now? Yak 7, I think. Yeah. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, this game is just about over. So, I don't think I'm going to... No, there we go. Game is over. We have won. It was close. But that was my first win of the day in the Russians. And... if I'd been doing what I've been doing previously, so you know, ground strike and just abandoning it, that would have been yet another 0 credit, 0 XP first win of the day. And instead, it was actually a pretty decent game. Finished first on the team, almost 6,000 XP and just short of 20,000 credits, which at rank 1 isn't bad at all. Unlocked a whole streak of modifications for the old Lag 311. And, you know, if you have that one good game, that one good first win of the day, an aircraft down at this sort of level, down at rank 1 and rank 2, and to a lesser degree at rank 3, it's really, really easy to completely unlock almost every upgrade for that aircraft just by playing one game. Also, unlocked a new decal for 550 kills and got the fighter award, so not a bad result, despite the fact that it was my least favourite game mode, arcade ground strike. As always folks, watch your 6, and I'll catch you next time.